get a lightsaber, get some footage of you looking real cool, and make sure the lightsaber is the brightest thing in your scene. Then open up Blender, delete the light, the cube, but keep the camera. Reset its position and rotation, and then move it up on the Z-axis. Insert a plane and scale it up so it covers the camera viewport. Now give that plane an emission shader, give it your lightsaber color, and give it a strength of about 20. If it's looking too saturated, just desaturate it a bit. Keyframe the strength value, then go into the graph editor. Add a noise modifier, mess around with the strength and scale, and phase if you want to. Just give it a bit of a flicker so it looks like an actual energy source and not just a stick of blue light. And there we go, we got a flickering lightsaber core. Now input your image as a plane. This isn't wholly necessary, but it helps with playback and lets you know how many frames you need. Check animate image sequences if you're using an image sequence. Make sure you have enough frames and that auto refresh is selected. If you input it in a movie clip, this should be done automatically. Also make sure you have enough frames on your timeline. Make sure to disable your footage from the render layer and render out of frame. Now in the compositor, check use nodes. Go ahead and get yourself a viewer node so you can see what's going on. And then we're going to input our footage. A movie clip should work fine, but if you want to use an image sequence, you can do that too. Connect this to your viewer and output nodes to see your footage. Find a frame where you're swinging your lightsaber, and add a luminance key. This separates our bright foreground objects from our dark background objects. The high value means anything brighter than this keep, the low means anything darker than this get rid of. Find some values that work for you, depending on the brightness and motion blur of your footage. Add an alpha overnode, and we're going to connect these up. Put your render layer on the bottom, your luminance key image on the top, and use the matte as the factor. Now add a glare node to get this thing glowing, switch it to fog, put it on something like high or medium, and maybe bump the size up to 9. If you want to see your footage in the background, grab another alpha overnode, connect that up, put your glare into the bottom, and input your footage into the top socket. And whoa, you're holding a lightsaber! Now you can go through and make sure that everything lines up and looks good. If parts of your footage are glowing and you don't want them to be, either mess around with your settings some more, or just mask it out later. Or don't worry about it. Now your footage is done! You can export it as is, or you can turn off your footage and export it as an overlay layer. That way you have more control in another program like Premiere or After Effects. And now we're going to export this as a video, and the codec we're going to use is MP4 and H.264. This will output a glowing layer with a black background, and then you can use an ad or a screen layer in another program like Premiere or After Effects to get the look that you want. Then go ahead and let's render out this animation. And there you go! That is Lazy Lightsabers. If you already got a fun glowing stick, this works with anything glowing. Just make sure that your glowing stick is the brightest thing in your footage, so wear dark clothes, have a dark background. That just make the Lumimat easier when you finally do that. So, hope you enjoy this tutorial, hope you make some cool lightsabers and other things with it, and I'll catch you next time. May the Force be with you!